Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amber Unfiltered. Today, I'm so excited to do a film critique of this incredible movie that I watched on Friday called The Assessment. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to cash out me at Amber Unfiltered Show, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let me preface this video by letting you know there's definitely going to be spoilers. So if you plan on watching this, pause the video and come back. Or if you have no intention of watching it, still watch the review, check me out, comment. I want to hear some engagement. I want some engagement from you guys. I want to hear some feedback, kindly, of course. I kind of miss talking to you guys. What's tea? I hope you guys are doing well. Kayshawn, hey girl, hey, you're like one of the most consistent people that comment. I love you, girly. I feel like we're going to link up in real life and it's going to be a kiki and I can't wait for that. But while I did say that it was incredible, I do want to also add that there were some parts that fell short, but I still really enjoyed the film. It was unlike anything that I have ever watched, and I told you guys I love watching movies. That is one of my outlets. That is one of my escapes. My dad was a big movie head, and he kind of passed that love of cinema down to me, my brother. So we're always checking out new content, checking out new projects. I even read like Variety, like Hollywood Reporter, websites like that, magazines and publications like that to stay up on what new projects are coming out. I read a lot of different articles and follow a lot of different public figures, especially creatives, because I love artists. I have such a deep reverence for them, not only because I'm one myself, but I know that so much time and effort and love and labor goes into, making projects and creating cohesive bodies of work. So my hats go off to them. I also want to tell you that this video is probably going to be long because, I like to run my mouth. I have my tablet here. I'm going to read the plot from Wikipedia. Sometimes Wikipedia be leaving stuff out. So if stuff is out of order or out of chronological whatever, chronology, then please excuse me for that. I don't know if chronology is a word. Is that a real word? I don't know. I might have just made that up. But anyways, first of all, I actually really wanted to see this movie in theaters, and I'm kicking myself in the fucking teeth because I didn't. I don't know what happened. When did it come out? I'm looking right now. It came out September 8th, 2024. Oh, at the TIFF. I think the TIFF is like a film festival. Let me look. I forget what the abbreviation stands for. It's the Toronto International Film Festival. Let me go back. So it came out in, the fall of last year or the end of summer last year. And then I believe it was released. Oh, it was released earlier this year, March 21st, 2025 in the States. So it has a runtime of about 114 minutes, which is what, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours ish, or 2 hours and like 15 minutes, something like that. The budget was $8 million. It didn't do that great in the box office. It made $279,328. It was definitely a smaller project. It was an indie film. I really think that they maybe could have marketed this more. I'm not sure who marketed it. I don't want to shit on them, but I don't really feel like I know anybody who watched this movie or who even knew it existed. That's kind of why I said that. Again, not shitting on them, because I know with smaller projects and smaller films, the budget, you have to kind of stretch it where you can. And you kind of have to cut and ask things, that you would give more time and attention and money to than. But I absolutely adore Alicia Vikander. She is one of my favorite actresses. She's kind of been laying low. I know she got married. She married my baby daddy in my head, Michael Fassbender. I don't know if you guys know who he is. I've always thought he was so fine, but he's also so talented. I know I should not be listening over someone else's husband, even though I'm married as well. But he was like my celebrity crush back in the day, especially when X-Men came out. I mean, he's a very strong actor as well, so it doesn't surprise me that he also married a fellow actor. Okay, these aren't the best pictures, but this is him. I don't know. I think he's like, is Michael Fassbender Scottish or Irish? Let me see. There's a picture of them here together. They're a really cute couple. She has like such a doll face. Like she has like a doll, what am I trying to say? Like physique and like features. Like, I don't know. Okay, this is a better picture of him. Tell me this man not fine. He know he fine, okay? Let me see. I think he's Scottish. Is he Scottish? Hold on, I'm finna look. He's either Scottish or Irish. Oh, my bad. He's German and Irish. Yeah. I was like, he's definitely one of those Europeans. Europeans, Jesus. He's definitely a European gentleman. That's what I was trying to say. So anyway, let me get into the movie. Again, I absolutely adore Alicia Vikander. I think she's a very strong actress. I've only seen her in a few projects, and the things that I've seen her in, she's blown my mind. She has such wide range, and she has like this emotional intensity, but she also has this subtlety to her that you cannot miss. Here's pictures of her. I mean, I kind of showed you with I mean, she's so pretty to me. Like, she has like a simplistic beauty, but it's not overstated. It's not overdone. Hold on, let me see. Okay, this thing is having a stroke. Let me see if I can show you another picture of her. Where the way that I first got introduced to her was, and I believe she's Swiss, if I'm not mistaken. The way I first got introduced to Alicia Vikander was through Ex Machina. If you have not seen that movie, you need to watch it. I didn't realize this, but I really, really enjoy sci-fi. And I think because of the societal norms that are established and are usually broken by some of the main characters or some of the supporting characters. So I'm going to read you the plot for Ex Machina, and then I'm going to get into my critique of The Assessment. Okay, hold on. It's taking forever to load. Ex Machina came out in 2014. This is one of my favorite movies. I don't get to watch it a lot. I actually think I might watch it again and maybe talk about it on the channel, or maybe just watch it for entertainment purposes. So in Ex Machina, a young programmer is selected to participate in a groundbreaking experiment in synthetic intelligence by evaluating the human qualities of a highly advanced humanoid AI. When I say Alicia Vikander killed this role, I mean that shit. I believe Oscar Isaac was in this film. I also have a crush on him. I think he's fine as hell. He could get it any day of the week. Domhnall Gleeson, who is a very well-established actor, was in here as well. Alicia Vikander plays the AI, and the way she played it was such like fluidity, and like she outsmarted her creator. Oh my God, it was so genius, and it had a lot to say about like sensuality, like desire, like power, power and control, access, wealth. Like, it was very interesting. And like using your brain instead of your body necessarily for, outsmarting purposes. I mean, it was just so good. So anyway, I'm sorry I did all that yapping, and now let me get back to the critique. So I'm going to read you what, the plot on Wikipedia says, and then I'll insert, my 2 cents. In the near future, society enforces strict regulations on parenthood due to environmental collapse and resource scarcity. People prolong their lives through pharmaceuticals, and childbirth is only possible through artificial wombs. Prospective parents, must undergo a rigorous 7-day assessment to determine their suitability for raising a child. Mia and Aryan. So Mia is played by Elizabeth Olsen. If you don't know her, the Scarlet Witch, she's in Marvel. She's done a lot of movies. She's Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's, I believe, older sister or younger sister. I'm not sure. She's 36. I think she actually might be younger. I think the Olsen twins are much older than that. But I'll show you a picture of her. Wanda. That's her. That is her name, or Scarlet Witch. But we've seen her in lots of things. She was in Godzilla. Let me see what else she was in. Hold on. I'm about to read you some of her filmography just so you know. Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. I remember that movie, but I don't think I watched it. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. She was in Captain America, again, as Wanda, Scarlet Witch. Godzilla, lots of Avengers movies. Doctor Strange as well. She's done TV as well. Nothing that I've actually watched, so I don't really want to get too much into that. Himesh Patel, I'm not familiar with him. He plays Aryan, who's her husband. Oh, he a Libra gang. Shout out to him. But this is what he looks like. So he plays her husband. Okay, so I just wanted to show you who played the leads. And then I just showed you Alicia Vikander, who plays the assessor. So they're a married couple residing in a secluded, technologically advanced home beneath a protective dome. They're eager to have a child. Mia is a dedicated botanist working on cultivating plant life. She has a whole greenhouse. She has this one specific plant that her mom gave her. Her mom abandoned her when she was younger, and that's the only thing that she has to remember her mother by besides her obvious memory. In the beginning of the movie, it was interesting. There was a scene where I believe it was her when she was younger. She was swimming in the ocean or the sea, and she looked up. Oh, I just peeped game. I'm so stupid. I just thought about this. I didn't think about this on Friday when I watched this, but I just peeped this. So in the beginning of the film, there's a younger version of Mia. She's swimming. She's a very strong swimmer. And she keeps coming up for air, and her mom's like back by on the land by like a cliff or something, or the shore, and she looks up and her mom's there. Her mom's calling her, she's calling her, and every time she comes up, her mom's there, and then the last time she comes up, her mom is gone. Then it morphs into Mia as an adult swimming, and she looks up and there's no one there. So I just thought about how that was like kind of like a foreshadowing, and it kind of gave us some insight as to her character's state of mind, almost like that emptiness or that longing. And she kind of makes a similar decision in the end of the movie now that I think about it. Oh my gosh, it's so funny when I like figure stuff out in real time. It's like, oh, remember Stitch from Lilo and Stitch when he's like, oh, like, I don't know why, I just had like a light bulb moment just now. So, okay. So yes, she's a botanist. She has her own greenhouse. She's very smart. She's very good with like Mother Nature and like plants and like growing her own food for her and her husband because like I said, resources are scarce. So there's two worlds. There's like an old world where everything got decimated because of the climate and just, you know, human nature, the human condition. And then her and her husband, Aryan, are in this new world where it's like they're kind of spaced apart. They don't have any neighbors. There's no like human interaction besides the two of them. He's also scientifically like advanced and intelligent. I forget what his formal title was, but he kind of is in the science realm as well, or like tech realm. He kind of is like sci-tech, like a combo of those two. So Aryan designs virtual reality pets to replace the real animals that have been eradicated. So in their old world or their old life, all the animals had to go because they didn't have resources for them. So unfortunately, there was like a mass exodus of all these animals. If someone tried to kill my dog, you have to kill me. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, I'm fighting you. Like, them's is fighting words, okay? But yeah, no, you would have to see about me. Like, I do not play about my dog. Like, I'm pretty much the same way I am with Nick. I'm the same way with our dog. Like, I love that dog to pieces. He is my life. Like, I could not function out without my dog, and I don't think he could function without me or his dad. Okay, so their lives are disrupted by the arrival of Virginia, the government-appointed assessor. So Virginia, again, is played by Alicia Vikander. Virginia is a stoic and enigmatic figure. She informs the couple that she will be living with them for the next 7 days to evaluate their potential as parents. Now, before I get further into it, do you think we should have assessments to gauge people's parenting skills? But I almost feel like that's like, I could see how it could be a benefit, but I also feel like it's a detriment because what if you don't have natural parental instincts like paternal or maternal instincts? And also, what if you fail because you're nervous or something or some other foreseen unforeseen circumstance? And like, what if you've never been exposed to children, but you know you really want to be a parent? I feel like there's so many layers and nuances and so many different scenarios and situations that it would be hard to say, yes, they should have an assessment. No, they shouldn't. What I find or what I've seen in my life, my 30 years of living, is that people who don't want kids often are able to have them and treat them like garbage. People who really want to be parents and really have good intentions and have done the work and have like leveled up in life so that they can provide usually have a hard time. I noticed that a lot of people who maybe on paper have it all struggle to conceive, and that breaks my heart because I'm like, they deserve to be parents. And I hate when people mistreat their kids because kids don't ask to be here. And don't go projecting your unhealed trauma or unresolved trauma on kids, like, because again, they don't ask to be here, and then they're gonna grow up to be a wounded adult because you didn't do right by them. But that's just my 2 cents. That's another discussion for another day. So anyway, Virginia arrives. So they have a conversation, and it's interesting because Mia is trying to be in control of the conversation. She's trying to dominate everything. She's trying to control everything. And Virginia's like not having no fucking parts. Like, she's like, bitch, this is my rodeo. Like, she is interesting. There's a scene where like Virginia asked him a question. I forgot what it was. And Mia's like, oh, but I just have one. And she's like, Virginia just continues with like her dialogue and her script and like the assessment. Like, she completely bypasses her. She acts like she's not even there. Like, she's a piece of shit on her shoe. And I think it was interesting because it established a very unique power dynamic there from the get-go. And it basically said that Virginia was going to have the upper hand. And she technically does. Their future is in her hands. And I was like, that's a scary position to be in. Someone you don't know, a complete stranger who doesn't know your heart, your intentions, your background, your nothing, gets 7 days to determine if you can have a child, the one thing that you really, really want. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, bitch, I would have failed that test, like, because my mouth alone. But anyway, so if they fail the assessment, they will never be parents. And I think there was like a caveat with the assessment, like with her organization. And also the government is the one that made this assessment. And then they train people and assign them to go do these in-home visits, basically. I think there was a caveat where if they fail it, they in the future they have to like apply. There's like a formal application process, and they're step by step by step. And it's also very mysterious. It's shrouded in secrecy. They don't really tell anybody anything. Like, you don't know until the next step happens. And she like informs them like, hey, you guys were like in the top 0.01%. So they're like great candidates on paper, but she has to see if in real life matches or aligns with what was on paper. And you can't apply again in the future. No, nothing. Like, you have no chance. This is like your one and done chance. And I was like, that's kind of cruel. Like, but the population is kind of dwindling. They don't have a lot of resources, so they're very intentional about the numbers. One of the reviewers that I watched, I forget which one it was, I wish I could shout them out, said that it almost reminded him of the one child rule in, is it China? I might be mistaken, but I was like, oh, I could totally see that. But I was like, he was like, it's basically to the nth degree. And I was like, that's facts though. So anyway, Virginia initiates a series of unconventional tests, including adopting the persona of a child, exhibiting behaviors ranging from tantrums to inquisitive questioning, forcing Mia and Arian to respond as they would to their own offspring. These scenarios expose underlying insecurities in their relationship and unresolved conflicts as well within the relationship, leading to emotional outbursts and moments of vulnerability. I feel like Mia, actually, if I think about this, Mia was more of like the dominant or masculating energy or masculine energy. To me, she felt like I don't know, she kind of felt like a man, like a father figure to me. And then her husband was much more softer in the beginning. He had more of a maternal, soft feminine, not in a bad way, but to me, that's how it felt. Because Mia was very hard set against the rules. Like, she was very strict. She was very like, don't get out of this box or I'm gonna like bust your ass. And the dad was just like, oh, well, come on. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I cannot begin to explain how crazy this movie is also. So in the beginning, like when Virginia starts to resort to these like childlike behaviors and tantrums and like episodes, she doesn't tell them. She just fucking does it. So they have no idea what they're up against. They don't know how far she's gonna take it and take them. Like, it's just, a switch goes off and she like just instantly becomes a child. So there's a scene, I think this was like one of the first scenes where like the assessment truly began. They're sitting at the table. It's like this plastic, like dark green, not dark green. It's like a bright green. And what else is interesting is their house, their environment is very sterile. It's very barren. Like, it almost looks too perfect, too cookie cutter. It kind of gives like Stepford Wife. Like, everything is just so neat, so like one dimension. Like, it doesn't have any life in it. I don't know how to explain it. Like, the table that they were sitting at, it was like this, like, it almost looked like a plant leaf. Like, you know, the color of like a really bright, like palm tree or like a huge leaf, you know, I can't think of the plant that would be. It kind of looked like that. So they're sitting at the table and Virginia is sitting at the head of the table, which again, to me, demonstrates the power dynamic. She's sitting at the head of the table. They get her like some cereal or something like that. And all of a sudden she's taking the bowl. She goes, she just starts fucking banging it on, and they're just like, oh my God. And then I think Mia is like, eat your food. Eat your food. Eat your goddamn food. Like, you can tell it's just killing her. And Virginia's not listening. She just keeps testing her buttons, like pushing her buttons, testing her limits, trying to see if she can get a rise out of her. And it fucking worked. So then I think she cussed at her and she's like, you cussed at me? Like, it was very kiddish, like 3, 4, 5-year-old or even a little bit older. You know how kids just really push your buttons and make you lose your goddamn mind? Like, she was going there. So then after that, I think it was the same scene. I can't remember. I didn't really take notes, so forgive me. But I think she took the spoon and like flicked whatever was in her bowl, like started throwing it or flicked it at her mom, you know, Mia. And then Arian's like, oh, he starts laughing. Virginia and Arian start laughing. Then all of a sudden she flicks it at him. He stopped laughing real fucking quick. And I was like, that is so interesting how with a certain parent, the child acts one way, but with a different one, they act a little bit more calm. Like, I feel like, okay, y'all gonna eat my ass up in the comments for this, but I feel like I've noticed this a lot, especially with like my cousins, people close to me and things like that. What I notice is that kids will try the mom and they're complete angels with the dad. They do not do that with the dad. I feel like even with my dog, bro, I know he's not a kid, but in my mind, he's my child. This man is my son. What did Nicki Minaj say? All these bitches is my sons. I'm sorry, I'm so stupid. But even with my dog, what I notice is he is always doing mischievous shit. And then when I call him out on it, he's like, I didn't do anything. And then he'll go run to his dad. And when I like try to give commands and stuff like that, or like call him in the house or whatever, like we have a little bit of land, so we can just let him out in the backyard because we have a pretty big yard. So we'll let him out. Like if I'm calling for him to come inside, he'll look me dead in the eye. Like I have a certain whistle that I use for him to come in the house. He'll stop, look me dead in the eye, and then keep right on like a little kid. And I was just like, are you fucking serious? If Nick calls him, he's like, he's immediately right at his side. Like, and even with like just the submitting, you know, I don't want to say submitting, like just obeying, you know, like certain things, like don't get in that sit, you know, things like that. Like he knows like certain commands and like hand gestures. Like if we want him to sit, we go like this. Or if we want him to get down, we say down. Or, you know, certain things that he knows. And he knows with like certain inflections and like body language and eye movements, like to do certain things. If Nick tells him, it's one and done. If I tell him, oh, you had said, I'm like, I'm about to kill you. And then he'll be like, I didn't do nothing. Like, I was listening, mommy. Like, why are you upset? That's literally what Virginia was doing. So I'm trying to think. Okay. So let me see. Oh, there was another scene. See, it skips a whole bunch of scenes in here. This is blowing me. I can't remember all of them, so forgive me again. There was another scene. I think it was like the first or second day of the assessment. Arian, okay. Actually, I think it was when she first got there. They had prepped her room. They had like basically baby-proofed it or whatever, right? Cleaned the house to the nines. So she goes in this guest or spare bedroom that they have, and she's like, the springs are broken. And Mia's like, but they're not. Like, I checked, I made sure they're good. When Virginia starts bouncing on the bed to like test the buoyancy of the bed or the mattress. And Mia's like, there's no springs in the bed. She's like, the springs are broken. And they're like, okay, well, we'll give you our room and we'll sleep in this little ass like twin size bed. So she in turn gets their room. Again, the power. She's already established in who's in control. So the Mia and Arian sleep in this little tiny room. It's hella small. So they go to bed later that night, and so they're kind of fooling around. They're getting intimate, and he's like, "Hey, can I get a little? Can you break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar?" Basically. So they don't go all the way, but you can pretty much guess what I'm trying to say. So she proceeds to, you know, pleasure her man or whatever. Why all of a sudden we see the door like angled open, it's like cracked open just a little bit, and Virginia's just standing outside. She's like, I need to examine all aspects of your life, including your intimacy. I said, bitch, but the gag was fucking Mia continued to suck her man off. I was like, no, she finished the job. I was like, what? I was like, there is no way. I would be like, I can't do this. Like, I could not, like, that's so uncomfortable. Another YouTube reviewer, I don't remember their name, I'm sorry, because I watched so many, I didn't write anything down. But another one was like, the director does a really great job of taking really like normal, like sensuous or private things and making them uncomfortable. I was like, that is a perfect way of putting it. Like, that is so true. I was like, she continued. I was like, there's no way. Like, that is sick. I was like, absolutely not. Like, you would have failed me right then and there. And also I want to add about the assessment. They could pull out as candidates anytime during the test. If they wanted to back out or bow out gracefully, they had the power to do that. And also they could not contest her decision. So if she said no, if she said yes, whatever the case may be, they had that decision stuck forever. I was like, oh my God. There were some other scenes that I was just like, bitch. I really think that the director does a really great job with the use of color throughout this film. There's some very bright, like punchy pops of color, and they really stick in your brain and they really stand out. And I actually was looking up, I think I looked it up the other day. Hold on. I want to look this up right now. What? Because there was a color that I kept seeing. I definitely saw lots of green in the movie, but it was like a very specific green. Like, you know, like how plants have that like really rich green. It was like, but it's not dark, but it's not light. It's kind of in the middle, but it's still bright. Like, it still pops, like it still catches the eye. So I looked this up the other day. It said green can symbolize life, fertility, renewal, and resurrection. But then it says green is a mix of yellow, which symbolizes glory and energy, and blue, sorry, where's the other part? Oh, damn it, I just lost it. I was reading a quick synopsis. Oh, damn it. Where did it go? Okay, damn, y'all. I was trying to finish that thought, but I don't know where it's at. It's a mix of yellow and blue. Where did it say that at? Oh, man. I forgot what it was going to say. Sorry, I've never been on this site before, y'all. Let me see what else it says. Okay. the general consensus is that green is a versatile color with a range of symbolic meanings, most commonly associated with nature, growth, and renewal. It also represents health, wealth, and harmony, and can symbolize peace, tranquility, and good luck. I feel like it was everything but, because Virginia went in there, she showed up and showed out, sis, okay? Something else that I really thought was clever was some of the dialogue or banter between some of the characters. Like, some of the lines, they really hit. Like, I can't even think of any right now. Also, something else that I loved was the use of sound. The sound design was excellent in this film. It was chef's kiss. This was actually Flor Fortunes, which is the director's name. She's French, I believe. She started out making music videos, and then this is actually her directorial debut. In a weird way, even though they're not related at all, it kind of reminded me of Blink Twice, just the use of color and the cinematography. The cinematography was so fucking good. But back to the sound design, they had these like very tribal, like primal sounds that I absolutely loved, and they were well placed. I also feel like the use of color, like I said before, but anytime a new day would start, the screen would show day one and it would just be blank and it would have a color. And then the font of like the words day one, they would be in a different color. And it really stood out to me because it's like certain day, it was like the tension was building. Like each day it just got more intense. And it was really, I loved how she built it up. Like I loved how she added like the right amount of drama, of humor, of like there was a way, like the way she made it, it made you think about certain things. Like what the fuck would you do if you were in this situation? Like if you, and like you cannot in this world, you cannot have children naturally. Like even if you are having sex and things like that in this world, you have to be very careful. It didn't say if they were taking any pills or anything, or taking any preventative measures, like you know, using contraception or anything like that, or other methods, but I would be curious to know, like certain things I was like, I wish I had more information about this. But that was something that I really, really loved. I loved the costuming was very good. It was pretty spot on. It wasn't right out futuristic or sci-fi, but I think the costuming fit each character. I liked the hair. Mia's hair sometimes was very wild and sometimes all over the place, but it was also very neat at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. Virginia was more buttoned up. She was more pristine. Arian, kind of the same thing. But then it was like, as it went on, they became more loose, more unhinged, especially Virginia. I think Mia did too, because Virginia tested her. She preyed on all her insecurities. She pushed all the buttons on her flaws. And I think in some ways she did it with Arian, but it was more towards the maternal figure, or I would argue that Mia is actually the head of household, because she runs that house to the T. And that's kind of, I don't know if that's something that resonates with me, but yes, I feel like I try to that sounds so wrong. I try to, you know, get Nick's input in certain things, but I think certain things he lets me run of our household and other things he takes care of with our household. So I think there's definitely a balance. So as the assessment progresses, Virginia's methods become increasingly intrusive and manipulative. She orchestrates situations that pit Mia and Arian against each other, further straining their relationship. And to me, there's certain scenes where I feel like Arian wants the child more than Mia does, like, which is interesting, because there's a scene, I forgot what it was, like what was happening, but Mia was like, you have to want this with me too. And found it interesting she was saying that, because everything she was not saying or doing kind of told me she was just going along with it. Like, oh, he wants a child, so I'll just, like, it's the next thing to do, or something to call of my own. But it didn't feel like she was 100% invested. It felt like she had some unfinished business, maybe from her past or with her research or whatever the case may be. There was another scene where they went to the beach as a family. That scene gagged me to pieces, okay? The acting, when I tell you that Alicia Vikander captured she captured different stages of kids perfectly. When I was like reading interviews, I actually read a bunch of interviews of hers on like Saturday morning at like 3 a.m., maybe like Sunday morning, really. But I was reading a bunch of interviews of like how she prepped for the role. She took experience from her real life kids. She was actually 4 months pregnant when she shot this, and she had like a 2 or 3 year old at home. So she was drawing from those experiences, which I thought was so interesting, that she pulled from her child that was already in the world, and then the one that she was growing inside of her, and then her own experiences, and probably experiences of maybe her husband or people closest to her. I thought that was so interesting. But when I say she used her body so well, her body was like the unsung, or the what was I gonna say? like almost like her body was like a character. Like, I know she's an actress and her body is how she expresses, you know, and tells stories, but I think the way that she moved her body, like she really studied movement. She does movement really, really well. I think that's something that she does really well in an Ex Machina as well. I think she actually has a dancer background, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not super shocked, but the way that she, I cannot describe to you how well she captured. Like, I could see like my niece, my 4-year-old niece. I could see my nieces that are twins doing stuff like this. They're not even like a year old. I could even see my other niece's brother, who's not a year, he's about to turn a year old at the end of this month. And I was thinking about them, and then it made me think about my own childhood. And I was like, oh, I probably would have done something like that. I probably would have responded like that. But I cannot stress, like, her facial expression, what she was doing with her body, what she was not doing with her body was, oh my God, it was delicious to watch. It was just such a treat to watch as a viewer. But anyway, there was a scene where they went to the beach, and she was, I think they were playing hide and seek behind like these like rock cliffs or whatever, these like massive structures, right? And what was interesting was she only wanted to find the dad. She kind of had this tension with the mom that I found very interesting. And the mom would try really hard to like win her affection. And she was just like, no, I want daddy. And it was funny. She started calling them mommy and daddy, which I was like, that's crazy work that this lady's like 30 or 40 calling another 30 or 40-year-old, two of them, mind you, mommy and daddy. She started off calling Ari and daddy, and then it kind of evolved. So then, what was I going to say? So Mia is like, hey, why didn't you guys find me? And her husband's like, oh, I was looking for you. Bitch, he was not looking for her. So then Mia, while they're talking about that and hashing it out about that, Mia disappears. They freak the fuck out. And I thought it was interesting how it was talking about the different situations that parents find themselves in, and how no matter how much you think you're prepared, you're really not, and how you like have to surrender as a parent. Parenthood is about surrendering, and I feel like that's one of the hardest things to do. Again, I don't have kids, but I have been around kids my whole life. I've watched kids my whole life. I study people. I people watch like a motherfucker. I have a lot of parents around me, moms and dads. And it's so interesting the things that kids do and how those relationships work. I'm so fascinated by that. And I'm curious to see like how my child is when they come out. But anyway, God damn it, Virginia goes off and she just goes missing. They can't find her. They're screaming her name. They're looking for her. Why remind me of Jurassic Park? Was it 2 or 3 when they were looking for Eric? Remember they was yelling his name in the clearing and then the T-Rex came out of nowhere? I said, only white people will be screaming in the middle of a dinosaur park like that. I was like, have they like, you might as well have put it on a loudspeaker, okay? Like, this was too much. I was like, why would you be yelling his name at the top of your lungs? Like, I would have just tried to quietly look for him so I don't get eaten, bitch. But that's just me. So they look for her, and then Mia finds her, and she's like, she like washes up in the water, and she's like choking, like gurgling on water. And she's like, you left me, like, you know, kind of like going through like the motions of like a temper tantrum. And then Mia's like, come on, baby, like, I'll take care of you. She's like, I don't want you, I want daddy. Like, you know, kind of like that, you know, when kids are picky and they have a certain emotional relationship with one child or one parent more than the other, and they only crave that one parent support. I thought that was interesting. So then they walk back to the house, and it starts pouring rain. Why does fucking Virginia sit outside in the pouring rain? She's shivering, her teeth chattering. I was like, girl, what is you doing? So then Mia comes out and gets her, and she gets her together, and she's like, come on inside. At least you can be mad at me inside. Like, she kind of leaned into the fact that her child was upset with her and just kind of like let her express her emotions. And I think that's interesting because kids have such big emotions, but they don't know how to process it. And we have to like give them grace, but we also have to give ourselves grace because adults definitely experience big emotions and sometimes we don't know how to process it, myself included. So there's a very intimate moment where Virginia gives her a bath, and you know, she starts to come around to her and she starts calling her mommy, and they start kind of having a bond, which I thought was so interesting. There was another scene, I think before that, where something got delivered to their house. I said not Amazon Prime in the future, but there was something that got delivered to their house. It was like this massive, like, you know, like those indoor tents that you have as a child, like the play ones. It kind of looked like a Lego tent. I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of reminded me of that. So they have until the morning to put this thing together. So Mia and Arian struggle to put this together. Virginia goes to bed, or so they think, and they put it together. They struggle at first. They get it to a good working point, and then it falls completely apart because I guess they didn't put a specific part on right. So then they put the whole thing together by morning, and then they turn to their left, like right as the sun is coming up, and realize there's one part that they didn't put on there. So Ariane's like, bitch, what are we gonna do? Like, we don't have time to rebuild this. So Mia goes outside to the ocean and just whoosh, throws it in the water. This comes into play later, and hopefully I remember to talk about it, but it definitely comes back to bite her in the ass later. And I was just like, bitch, hold on one second. I need to drink some water. My throat is dry. I've been talking for a while. Also, I don't know if I told you guys, this is limoncello LaCroix. That shit slaps. It's so good. This is probably my favorite like sparkling water. Like, I used to not like LaCroix, but I was like, it's kind of hard a little bit. So anyways, so Virginia comes to inspect the tent. She goes inside. She's like, oh, you guys did a good job. Like, she's big upping them. She doesn't let on that she knows that they threw that one part in the ocean, which I said will come back into play later. So then, also I wanted to mention there was another scene where Ariane shows Virginia, oh my God, why did my tablet do that? Hold on. Oh, because there's water on it. Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry, I like, you know when you tap a tablet and then it like has a stroke and goes to the end of the page? That's what it did. So Ariane has like this like lab or like virtual reality like room in like the basement or something, and he's been working on virtual pets, but he can't, like, he's been working on like a chimp or something, but he can't quite get the texture of the fur right. So he shows this to Virginia, and they kind of have like a bonding moment, and then they start like play acting like they're like chimps or something, and Mia comes down and she's like, bitch, what the fuck? And it was very interesting. And then there's another scene where Virginia goes down there, and it's like a techno nightclub. She's blasting music. It's like the lighting is like red. It's like this heartbeat red. Like, it was nuts. I was like, she's just like doing all this, ignoring them. They're like yelling at her, like, please turn this shit off. And she's just like, nope, party of one, your table is ready. I was just like, oh my God. Like, it was just so interesting how she kept antagonizing them, and she knew that they couldn't do anything about it. I was like, that's a lot of power for one person to hold, especially against two people who are supposed to be tied for life because they're married. So anyway, there's another scene. This was a very good scene. Again, I see Alicia Vikander's range in this scene, and I definitely think that Elizabeth Olsen gave her a run for her money as well. Like, they were very good. They had very good chemistry. All three of them did. I saw a lot of reviews where people were like, oh, Himesh Patel didn't sell it to me. I think he actually did. He was like the soft, safe sounding board for his wife. And I also think we saw some of his desperation also to be a father and to nurture someone other than his wife. I also feel like he had a little bit of loneliness or isolation or separation from his wife. And I think that's something that naturally happens in any relationship, especially a marriage. I really liked the soft nature of his character and the way that he played him. I've never seen him before. I think another YouTuber said that he played in Tenet. I've never seen that movie, but I was like, I'm gonna check him out because I think he's a talented actor. And there were some scenes where he was really emotionally intense, and him and Mia were going into it. But I enjoyed his depiction of Ariane. I really liked how he had different layers, and we kind of saw some of like his traumas and insecurities and flaws in his past come out, as we did with Mia as well. So there's a scene where a surprise dinner party happens. It happens on a whim. They get like very short notice. So Mia and Ariane scramble to clean the house, get it ready for guests. They make some food, you know, they go get stuff from their garden. They're chopping, they're cutting, they're preparing, cooking, doing all the things. So she doesn't tell them who's invited to this party. They invite some of their neighbors and colleagues and specific people from their past. Like, one was the ex-girlfriend of Ariane, and then the other was a professor that Mia was under, you know, as a student, and she actually had an affair with him, and his wife was there, and his wife knew. I said, bitch, I know you lying. And then Ariane's ex-girlfriend, he actually had applied to go under or undergo an assessment with her to have a child with her, and Mia never knew. So she found out at the dinner. It's like all their tea and all their drama and their baggage came up to bite them in the ass. And she hadn't told him about this professor as well. She's like, oh, it's nothing. Like, I want to be with you. And it's like, but that's something key, like, from your past. And like, sometimes your past does come back to bite you in the ass. So it just keeps getting awkward and awkward and awkward. And then there's talk about like the old world and the new world and like the government. One of the guests, she's played by Minnie Driver, who I think gave a really great guest performance or supporting performance. She kind of shits on the government. She's like, I don't agree with the assessment. You know, remember how things were back in the old day before everything, or the old world before everything went to shit. Like, she basically rags on the government and she gives them a piece of her mind. And I was like, for me, I personally feel like politics is something that you don't bring to the dinner table, especially in an intimate setting like that, like someone's home, because you just don't know people's political beliefs. And I think it could get heated really quick, and people are quick to disown and like hate you or cut you off. And it's like, we can have a difference of opinion as long as you're not disrespecting me. I probably have a very passive aggressive approach to that, or more what was I gonna say, more unpopular thought, but I'm not gonna attack someone because of their political beliefs. I just think that's crazy work, and I never would do it. I can respect your opinion, and we don't have to have the same opinion, but you know, I just try to give people grace and space to say what they need to say. I don't really comment on that type of stuff because, again, I just know how heated and divisive it can get, and it makes me mad uncomfortable, but that's just me. I also feel the same way about religion and specific things, just because, again, you don't know people's belief systems, and it's someone's home. Like, that's such a sacred space, and you don't want to bring that type of energy or juju in there, but that's just me. So Virginia is acting a damn fool. Like, I think there was a part where she was eating like bread, and she just like stuffed the bread, and she's like it's like overtaking her mouth to the point they have to like take the whole piece of bread out of her mouth. She just has bad like table manners, table etiquette. I was trying to say manners and etiquette and said manicure. Girl, what? I don't know what I was doing there. There's another scene where like she is under the table and her dad's trying to get her, and she's like leaning over, so she, you know how little kids, they really try you. And then there's a scene where she is asking Minnie Driver's character, I forget her name, but again, she gave a great performance. I think Minnie Driver is a very good actress. Hold on one second. Damn, I feel like fucking Seabiscuit. But anyway, there's a scene where she's like, no, tell me more about the old world or whatever. So she starts giving everybody like the oral history of the old world and like how things used to be. Why did fucking Virginia piss on her? I was so dead. And she's like, this little fucking brat. And she throws her on the floor. And then Mia comes to comfort her. And it's just like a whole thing. But it's so interesting. Like, you could just really see the cracks in this couple's relationship. So anyway, and Aryan, he like isn't doing shit. Like Mia is carrying like her bad behavior. Like, he's kind of just, you know, sometimes the mom is like the only one who can calm the kid down, or the dad is the only one who can calm the kid down in certain situations, in certain environments. And I definitely thought it spoke to that. And I thought it was very interesting how Virginia would pit them against each other, but then they had to ultimately work together, even though their parenting styles and their perceptions were different. And I'm very curious to see how me and my husband parent, because I was like, I feel like I'm gonna be like the bad cop, he gonna be the good cop. Or I was like, it could be totally different. I think, who was it? Was it Leighton Meester? No. Was it Jessica Biel? Was it Jessica Biel? I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw a clip recently of Jessica Biel, Justin Timberlake's wife. I think it might have been her, or somebody who looked like her. And she was talking about parenting, and she was like, I had no idea. She was like, I thought I was going to be one way as a parent. She's like, but I had to learn how to like set boundaries and like kind of be a little hard with certain things because I didn't want them to run all over me. But she was like, I try to be very chill for the most part. But then she's like, with certain things I have to put my foot down on. And she's like, then my husband is the complete opposite. And then she was like, sometimes we switch. And I was like, that's so fascinating to me. I think it was her. Was it her? Damn, I'm so blown. I feel like it was her though. But I was like, damn, that's really crazy. But I was like, I feel like certain situations call for certain responses. And I definitely feel like parenting is big on that. So then, okay, sorry. I know this video is long as hell. I said so then, and then I said it like 50 more times. So Mia gets a call after, you know, the dinner party. Mia gets a call like the next day about her sister being sick in the hospital. And Virginia's like, oh, you can't go. And she's like, bitch, that's my sister. Like, I all bets are off. Like, she's family. And it was interesting because in that moment, she was forced to choose between her child, which would be her family, but then her sibling, like, who is the only family she has on this planet, in this world. So I thought that that was so fascinating as well. I was like, damn, like, who do you choose? Do you choose your sister or your sibling who might die? Like, you know, sorry, I'm getting hot, so I'm gonna take this off. But I was like, who do you choose? I think if I had to pick, I would probably pick my child, which is so shitty, but I'm just like, my baby would come first. Like, I don't want to miss anything with them. But then it's like, damn, you forsake that sibling relationship, you know, that connection. So then Virginia concedes, and she's like, okay, well, you can go see her, but then you have to come back like first thing tomorrow morning. So while Mia is gone, Virginia gets into the bed with Mia's husband, Aryan, who's supposed to be like a dad to her. She essays him. Yes, essays him, because it's against his will. He did not consent. She comes into the bed, seduces him, and finishes the job. And she's like, this is part of the assessment. And I was like, she totally crossed the line in so many ways. And I was like, he probably felt helpless and like he had to do it because he didn't want to jeopardize their chances, because if he didn't do it, then they probably wouldn't be able to have the baby. But I feel like Virginia had already made up her mind when she set foot in the house. That's what I think. Or within the first 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72. Like, I feel like she already had preconceived notions about them, and I feel like she already was wanting smoke with them. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Hold on one second. I felt so bad for Aryan, and it was a very uncomfortable scene to watch as a viewer, but I like that they made commentary about this, because I was like, what, it kind of posed the question, like, what will you do? What wouldn't you do? You know, kind of like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Like, I know it's not the same thing, but I was like, damn, she really took it too far. Like, he had no skin in the game. Like, he had no dog in this fight. And I was just like, Aryan didn't deserve that. He was like the sweetest soul, like, honestly. Like, he was probably one of the more softer or more rounded out characters. Like, he was very like level-headed to me. So Mia comes back and she's like, you know, the hospital actually mixed her up with someone else, her sister. I actually think that Virginia did that so that she could be alone with Aryan and that she could seduce him. That was my thought. Seduce. God, I can't say that word. So then the next day, Virginia burns down Mia's greenhouse. So Aryan is in his lab, and sorry, I keep wanting it because the Ia sound is getting me off. Virginia comes down to his lab because Mia's outside in the ocean, in the sea, swimming. She's just doing her own thing. She needs a minute to herself. And Aryan's like, can we talk? And I think he was going to tell her about what Virginia did, but she's like, well, I need some me time. And I was like, oh, damn, you should have listened to your husband, because this whole thing could have probably been prevented. So he's in the lab. He's testing the thing out with the virtual pet, and he basically has the chimp or the ape's fur texture right. And so Virginia's like, can you spend some time with me? Can you come outside? And he's like, oh no, like, I just need to finish something and then I'll be right there. So remember that blue, or that piece that I told you about? It was a blue like pipe or like connector for that little tent that I said was kind of like a Lego tent. It's not a Lego tent, but the colors and the texture kind of remind me of a Lego. I don't know why, because it's not exactly like it, but it just brings up that childhood memory. So that piece that Mia had thrown into the ocean or the sea, she had actually saw her, I guess, throw it, and she went and got it when nobody was looking. I said kids will do the darndest things, okay? So she took that and just fucking rags on her greenhouse. She destroys it. She tears it to pieces, smashing everything, like glasses everywhere. She like pours stuff out that has liquid in it. The flower, the last flower, it was like a aloe plant, aloe vera. Is it aloe vera? Yeah, aloe plant that Mia's mom had given her. That was like the last thing she had to remember her mother by. She fucking destroyed that, and then the greenhouse catches on fire and she can't get out, so she stays in there. So then Mia is swimming and she comes back to shore, and then she sees the smoke coming because the greenhouse is like right behind their house. So she goes and rescues her. What I forgot to mention was that Aryan has a phobia of fire, because when the chaos broke out in was it the old world or the new world? I guess the lab he worked in, a fire caught, and he had to literally like fucking jump out of like a building, like 2 or 3 story building, and he got like a scar on the side of his face. So after that, he's been terrified. So when it was catching on fire, she's like, can you do something? Can you go get her? Like, she's basically under our care. She's like our child, like our dependent, like help. He didn't. So then Mia like throws a rock, she goes in, drags her out. And then the next day, I think some stuff did happen after that, but the next day is the 7th day, which is the final day. And Virginia sits them down on the couch, similar to how they sat down the first time that they met. And she's like, hey, I'm failing you guys. And I was like, that is cold. I was like, could you imagine delivering such like bad news to someone? Like, that's not bad. That's like life-changing. That's like defining news. Like your life begins or ends with that news. So then she doesn't tell them why, and Mia's like, what the fuck? So then Aryan breaks down, like he snaps. He's like, I did everything you told me to do. Like, I literally did everything. Like, basically, I let you R-word me to get this baby, and like that still wasn't enough for you. And then Mia puts 2 and 2 together, because she's like, why is he getting so worked up? Why is he getting so passionate about this? And she's like, you fucked her. And then Mia just like starts fucking laughing maniacally. She's just like, I mean, I have no fucking choice but to laugh, because you're part of the reason why we didn't get this fucking kid. I mean, it was such a the tension in that scene, the fucking response from Mia, the fucking coldness, callousness of Alicia Vikander's Mia, it was just so good. And Mia was just like, all right, Tulu. Like, she just walks out with her little clipboard and her like little binder or whatever. It's like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Like she didn't just give them devastating, earth-shattering news. I was like, oh my God. I mean, the way that Aryan broke down, you could just tell, like, it was like someone stabbed him in the fucking heart. It was so genius. So then later on, you know, Virginia's gone. So then there's another really good, like, emotionally intense and like emotionally engaging scene for me as a viewer was after Virginia left, some time had went by. I think Mia went to her greenhouse to try to see if she could salvage anything. And she's just like, oh my God, all my work. Also, that was another scene before Virginia had left. She had like went out to the beach or was like sitting by the beach or the ocean or the sea. And Mia comes up to her. She's like, do you know what you did? Like, that's all my work, all my research, all my contributions. Like, I'm trying to save this world. I'm trying to save this earth. And bitch, you fucking sabotaged my one shot. Like, I'm gonna have to start over. And Virginia's just like, like, she's not bothered. So when Virginia goes into her greenhouse, she sees that fucking pipe that she had thrown, or the connector that she had thrown in the ocean from the little tent thing that they had to build earlier in the movie. And she's like, son of a bitch. So she goes in their house, that tent thing is still up, and she just fucking rags, like, she just goes ham, like, she just tears it. She's like screaming, she's frustrated. Again, I love Elizabeth Olsen's use of her body, how she like used her body as like a vehicle, as like a medium to really express this character's rage and frustration. And she's like so exasperated, her hair's flying everywhere, she's fucking out of breath, and she just collapses on the fucking ground. Like, it was such a beautiful scene. I just really enjoyed it. I love scenes like that. It's just so, I'd like devour it. So Aryan joins her and he's like, hey, I want to show you something. So he takes her to his little lab downstairs, you know, the virtual reality lab, the sim lab. And he actually created a baby. So then he gives her the baby and she has this tender moment. I mean, it was such a beautiful moment. And then she's holding it, she's cuddling it, she's really interacting with it, really leaning into her motherly instincts. And then all of a sudden, bitch, this is what really gagged me. This reminded me of Insecure when she was like, fuck them kids, and she threw the baby in the trash. I rewinded that scene so many times. I watched it like 10 times in a row. I was laughing so hard. I was so fucking dead. I was like, Issa's comedic timing is genius. Nick was like, what is happening? Like, are you having a heart attack? And I was like, no, this scene is eating me up. So it kind of reminded me of this. So Mia is holding the baby. She's like looking at it. She's oohing and awing. She's talking to it. And he's like, you can name her. Like, he's trying to give her that sentimental value, you know, that moment, because they just got the worst news of their fucking life. And all of a sudden, she's holding the baby, she just fucking drops it on the ground. And the baby just thuds on the ground. Like, you like, bitch, you just dropped the baby. Whether it's real or not, you dropped a baby. I was like, gag. Like, I was like, what? And she was like, the smell. She's like, it doesn't smell real. It doesn't have that baby smell, that human smell, that this is my child smell. I was like, oh, I can't really blame her. And she breaks down about that. And so he's like, I can work on it. I can work on it. And so anyway, some time passes and Mia tracks Virginia down. She's at this shitty little rundown apartment and she confronts her. She's like, why the fuck did you fail us? Like, we really wanted this fucking baby. I forgot what Mia's explanation was, but then we get more into Virginia's backstory. I didn't really like this scene, and the reason why is because I do think that dialogue can drive a story, but I hate when they use too much dialogue and it takes away from the buildup. I feel like the first 2/3 of the movie are so brilliantly done that this kind of took away from it, and I was just like, ugh, I hate when there's so much dialogue and then you just spoon feed everything to the audience. Like, can you give me context? Can you like give me some imagery to go with it? Because I love movies because of the visual aspect, obviously, but it was just a lot of Virginia and Mia going back and forth. Virginia says some really powerful statements that I can't entirely remember, but she's just like, basically, we learned that Virginia, okay, let me go back, sorry. So Mia learns that nobody has passed this test for the last 6 years. Virginia actually was offered a child of her own to replace the daughter she lost. She lost her daughter when she was 8 because she also drowned. So she is supposed to fail all these couples to get a chance at having a child again. And I was like, oh, so she's going through a test of her own. I was like, oh, that makes complete sense. But I was like, that's morally wrong. You're failing people and you're taking away the opportunity for them to parent, to nurture, to shape a brilliant young mind. Like, I just felt like that was unfair. So she was like, the assessment was always meant to fail, but to give people a little piece of hope. And I was like, that's really evil, and I don't think I could participate in that. Like, my morals just would not align with that. Like, my moral compass is so strong that I could not willingly destroy other people like that. Like, I feel like I'm about to cry because I couldn't imagine, like, she put them through the most psychologically draining, like, hurdles and hoops, and they did everything she asked, and it still wasn't good enough. And it also posed the question of what makes a good parent? Who is a good parent? What qualities make a good parent? And it was interesting because Aryan and Mia were like, well, we're successful, we're smart, we're wealthy, we're self-starting, we're contributing to society, so that should be enough, right? And she kind of went at Mia about that, and I'm like, but you can't blame her for that. They're trying to make sense of this new world that they're in. Like, their lives as they know it have changed forever. Everyone's have. And I just thought that was so fucked up. So again, they have this exchange, and I didn't really like that part. Like, I wish there was more I wish there was more in it. I wish there was more imagery of some of the things that Virginia had went through. Maybe like a flashback or something would have been really great, like a flashback sequence. But I do understand again that this is a smaller budget film. It's an indie film. This is a first-time director, so I'm going to give her grace there because I do think that she did a great job. So then Virginia, we see Virginia in the future. She's assigned to assess another couple. She's getting ready to do the same thing that she did to Aryan and Mia. So the couple takes them to a guest bedroom. I think it's like a black man and an Asian woman or something like that. They take her to the guest room, and she doesn't actually pull the springs are broken card. And then all of a sudden, the woman leaves and she comes back because I think Virginia asked her for something. And all of a sudden we see that Virginia has taken her life. She just jumped and she's gone. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I guess she couldn't do it anymore. And in a way, she's almost reunited with her daughter. I genuinely feel like she was acting out her daughter's last moments with Mia and Aryan. I think this was a way for her to get out the loss of her daughter, but also in a sick way, like a sadistic way, to preserve her daughter, like the things that she remembered about her daughter. And I was like, oh, that's kind of wild. Like, she was so good at acting like a child. Like, it was like she in turn became the deceased child that she lost. Like, it was so intense. So anyway, we then see Mia and Aryan. Mia actually decides to leave. I think she just left her whole life behind, and she goes to the old world. And it was such a beautiful scene, that ending shot. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then we see Aryan, he's running outside on the cliff on the shore or whatever. And there's a child running around. She looks like a good mix of Aryan and Mia. She's a beautiful little girl. And then we see a simulated version of Mia up at the top by the house. And I was like, oh my God. But the ending shot, the score, Elizabeth Olsen's face, like when she takes off the mask, because you have to wear this basically biohazardous suit to enter this other world. We see her going down into this bunker. It kind of reminded me of Paradise on Hulu with Sterling K. Brown. Shout out to him. That's such an incredible show. If you want something new to watch that's easy to watch but not super long, with a short episode set or list, watch that show. That show is so good. It definitely makes you think. It starts out one way and then it goes completely left. I'm so excited for season 2, which I believe they're shooting right now. But Sterling K. Brown carried that show on his back. Also, I really was it James Marsden? I really liked his performance. But yeah, Elizabeth Olsen's Mia, she takes off her mask and she breathes a sigh of relief, and you see tears rolling down her face, and it's a wasteland is ravaged, but she feels free. She feels relief because towards the end of there was a specific scene earlier where she was like, I feel like I'm suffocating. I don't think she was happy in her marriage, and I don't think she was happy with her way of life. I think she wanted to contribute more, and she wanted to help those in the old world, and she wanted to reconcile with her past. That's the vibe I got from her. But I really enjoyed this movie. I originally was going to say it was a 6.5 out of 10. I know I said it was really good, but there was some stuff that I wish was done. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 and 7.5. Again, there were some key things that I feel could have been fleshed out more. But again, with smaller budgets, you have to kind of take your wins and losses, But I really think that Elizabeth Olsen, Alicia Vikander, and Himesh Patel did a phenomenal job. I really think that this gives it makes you think, it makes you stop and think, who is good, you know, a good candidate to be a parent, who is not. Me personally, I don't think I could take this test. I don't think I would last psychologically because, but you never know what you might do when you're pushed to your limits like that. So that's also another point I guess I could make. But I would die if I had to take a test to have a baby like that. But that was so intense, and I let someone into my most intimate moments in my home, my nest, my relationship, my everything. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I'll probably have to sneak a baby or something. I don't know. Like, I'll probably have to do like the simulation baby or something, because I don't know, that's just so much. But I love the points that they made about motherhood, about how it looks different across the board. I love how they kind of touch on like regulation as it pertains to like population and things like that. I thought it was interesting about the resources. I feel like a lot of the time in sci-fi, resources is a key theme. I kind of thought that their house was like almost sterile and empty, almost like a woman's womb, like a woman who has not given birth or who may not be able to give birth because she might have some complications with fertility and things like that. And it really made me think. And I was like, what would I do in this situation? Like, I feel like that could break any marriage. And I'm like, Alicia Vikander's character destroyed their marriage, and then she just, like, it was like a hurricane, like she wiped them out, and just, or like a tsunami, like she decimated them and was just like, all right. And I'm like, she didn't think about the aftermath at all, but I'm like, she's destroyed so many couples. I'm surprised she hasn't had any smoke or any backlash. But I would love, like, actually a follow-up. I would love to see a backstory of her character, actually all three of the main characters. I think that they were wonderful, but especially Mia and Virginia, because they were just such great polar opposites. There was so much chemistry. I was watching an interview of the director, Fleur Fortune, Himesh Patel, who played Aryan, Elizabeth Olsen, who played Mia, and Alicia Vikander, who played Virginia. And they were saying that they really didn't have that much time to prepare for this role. Like, they met on Zoom with the director, I think individually, you know, did the reading or whatever for the part. And then I think they met in person. Himesh and Elizabeth only had like a week to get to know each other, which I thought was really interesting. But there seems to be, like, I actually believe that their relationship was real. I was like, oh, tell me more. Like, what's tea? But Alicia Vikander, she was like that perfect third, as someone else put it in a YouTube video, she was like the perfect third entity to kind of upset the order, upset the balance. And I thought that that was a beautiful addition. I think that Fleur Fortune is very talented. I would like to see more movies from her. Her and Zoe Kravitz. I definitely want to see what they come up with next. I don't think they're the type of filmmaker that would just do the same thing twice. I think that they'll have a very versatile, like, eclectic catalog, and I'm so excited to see what else they do. I'm so happy to see Alicia Vikander back, because she's been kind of AWOL for a little while. I think she's such a talent, and she's such a treat to watch on screen. I think Elizabeth Olsen is very talented as well. I can't wait to see what other projects they do, but I'm so happy that my boo Alicia Vikander is back, because she, I don't know, it's something about her. Like, I would love to meet her. I don't know when or where, but she just seems like so grounded, and like she really takes her craft seriously, but also like she kind of is able to step away and take those breaks and prioritize the things that are important to her, like her family, her privacy, and things like that. And I totally respect it. Like, she kind of dips in and out, and I love that. Like, she drops the art and then she goes back to her life. And I was like, that's the type of artist I would be. But anyways, again, if I had to rate this, I would say probably like a 7.5. It kind of does border like 6.5, 7-ish at certain points, but I think that the story was unique. It needed to be fleshed out. I do also think that it needs to be longer in certain spots just to explain stuff more. But again, it's already like a 2-hour and like 15-ish minute movie. So I really think it could have been 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. But that's just me, because some stuff did need to be explained more, and I would have loved to see more of the character's happy ending. Someone said it ended on a cliffhanger, but I don't really think it did. I think the characters got the resolution and the clarity that they needed, and they all were able to make choices for themselves, which I actually loved. The government didn't pick for them. Rather, they were able to be independent and autonomous, which I think is something we love about sci-fi. It's people who break rules, rule breakers. We love that, right? That's why I love Divergent. That's why I love Hunger Games. These main characters, these women and men, you know, their support system around them, they don't just go with the status quo. They disrupt. And that's something I really, really absolutely love. But anyways, I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.